Thank you, Jackie. I'm live. Thank you for announcing.
I
that
do
we
it
are
every day
live.
for you.
And you're live too, Jackie. Good to see you. Hey, everybody. There's Sarah. There's Jackie.
Hey.
Let's look at all these beautiful people. There's Sandra and Giannis, Esther. Hey, good to see Polly. Polly's here.
Hey.
Let me go ahead and mute that. All right,
That's
good.
great.
Good times. We got Sarah, John. Good to see you, John. There's Alex and Heather. Oh, man, look at all my friends. They are here. Hey, Gary. Hey, Elizabeth. Let's go
Leslie.
get this show on the
Leslie.
road. There's Mark and Kate. All right, so we're going to have a nice conversation today. Let's mute our mics, and we are ready to rock. Oh, I especially want to welcome our newest of all newbies. There's Daniel, Sarah, Casey, Stephanie, Nick, Taps, and David. Welcome, all of you, and welcome to our group. Hopefully you made it in the room because we're already at capacity. Of course, we're pushing this out to YouTube Live as well, which is where you'll find the replays. And for those of you who are brand new here, hopefully you know who I am. I'm John Lavenia. I'm the Director of Success here with Blue Sky Amazon Sellers, and we get together here each day at 5 p.m. GMT, noon New York time, 9 a.m. where I sit right now, and middle of the night in Sydney. In fact, what time is it in Sydney? They just came off of, housekeeping everyone, they just came off of daylight time. Okay, Australia, New Zealand just came off of daylight time. They're heading into winter now, right? Because they're Southern Hemisphere. So what does that mean? That means it's 2 a.m. there right now, 4 a.m. in Auckland, New Zealand. Okay, so East Coast of Australia, 2 a.m. Auckland, right across the Tasman Sea, 4 a.m. All right, so keep that in mind when we get closer to Friday, 9 a.m. New Zealand time, right? Which is going to be Thursday evening for us. Thursday night for you guys across the pond in England and, you know, Europe. All right. So that's that clock just changed on their end. And we'll be stable now for the next 6 months or so until the United States goes off of daylight time and then England and now all that. Anyway, you get the point. So I want to have a little conversation with you guys today about what you can do to further your business starting today, right now. And it's a simple concept. And it's one that some of you are practicing, and some of you, maybe if you're newer here, you may have some misconceptions about things that you can do right now, especially in the face of, you know, coronavirus scare and all that sort of thing. Okay, so I was reading, believe it or not, I was reading from several books over the weekend, including this morning. And one of the things that I noticed was a common theme that runs through a lot of the stuff that I've been reading lately has to do with getting things done sooner rather than later. In other words, not standing on ceremony, not expecting things to be perfect, because what's that, right? I mean, there's very few things that are perfect, right? In fact, I would say no thing is perfect, right? There's a concept called perfection, which some people chase ad infinitum, never quite accomplishing it or thinking they did and then realizing they didn't, right? And when I look at people like Sophie, right, she's listed over 1,000 products with Amazon, more than 100 or 140 in her first year alone with Amazon, made millions, right? Now, the interesting thing is not all of those products were successful, right? You can't win them all. You can't lose them all either, right? So that implies that getting things done, in other words, like in the publishing world, we would say you got to publish, right? It's one thing to write a book. It's another thing to publish the book. The one who publishes is the one who receives, buyers. So publish, right? Same thing in the online marketing and social media space, right? I know people who are like social media gurus, either self-proclaimed or agreed upon by others as well, but social media gurus who are, they're on, Facebook, Instagram, etc., 10 times a day. That's their world, and they attract a lot of attention. So those who outflow will inflow, right? You think of it like the tide, right? So this is something we can look at just in natural objective life. You can look at this thing called the tide, right? The tide goes out, therefore the tide comes in, and there's a rhythm to that, right? The tide can't come in if it doesn't go out. Well, it can't go out if it doesn't come in, right? So there's a balance to life. It's the same thing in business, right? If we want to inflow the currency, the money, right? That's another kind of current. Well, then we've got to outflow value, into the marketplace. So I already mentioned just a couple examples of things that you could do if you are so inclined. If you want to inflow, you've got to outflow. So the question then that comes up, and the theme that keeps showing up in my life with all the stuff I've been reading lately, is what can you do despite circumstances, or fortuitously with these circumstances? Because you know what? There's a blessing and a curse, right? There's two sides to every coin. What can you do to increase your ability to inflow by outflowing more right now today? What can you do to cause that tide to go out, knowing that by law it has to come back in? And it doesn't have to be this big heroic thing. And I think this is where a lot of people, especially perfectionists, get caught up. They think, you know what, I've got to do this big heroic effort, and now I'll be worthy of the riches or whatever. Here's what I could tell you is that I haven't made millions in online marketing because of some big heroic effort. It's been because of consistency, because of little incremental improvements each day that then lead to, yes, here's a big win. Oh, look, there's a, $500,000 or $1 million, payday or year or whatever, right? So that's nice, but you didn't see all the other stuff leading up to it. That's not something that people are necessarily celebrating on the interwebs. I think about in fact, I got a couple of friends on here from New Jersey, where I grew up, right? I think about this guy named Bon Jovi. Anybody ever heard of John Bon Jovi? Yeah. So some of it may have been a little bit before your time. Okay. But back in the 1980s, when I was a youth growing up on the streets of New Jersey, there was this overnight sensation called Bon Jovi. Slippery When Wet, or whatever it was called. She's a Little Runaway. I think that was the big hit. She's a Little Runaway. Overnight hit, which took years and years of preparation, right? In fact, I was having this conversation with my daughter just the other day over dinner. We were talking about some of these movies that she likes. And we've got the biggest collection of children's movies like ever. And we watched, by the way, really, really good movie, Tangled. Anyone ever seen Tangled? It's a Disney production. I think it was the first $1 billion cartoon ever made. It was like mega production. The singing in it was like, oh my goodness, right? And then of course they followed it up with Frozen, right? And Disney pretty much, Disney could take a turd on a plate and sell it for $1 billion. I mean, that company, they got an unlimited budget, right? Anyway, Tangled, I think, is one of the greatest animated movies ever made. And I was listening to the singing from Donna, I think Miller. I can't remember her last name. She's a Broadway actress and theater, and also now film and stuff. She played the voice of Gothel, the evil stepmother, right? Gothel. And she does this Mother Knows Best song, and she just stole the show. Like, she blew everybody out of their seats. And so I was talking to my daughter about that movie. Yeah, that took years and years of hundreds of computer programmers, design people, artists, directors, sound, do it again, sing it 10,000 friggin' times, right? This is like millions and millions and millions of dollars, countless man hours, right? To make that experience that you just got to hear Gothel sing Mother Knows Best or whatever. I got to watch Rapunzel run around and meet Flynn Rider. Okay. That was major work, because she's enamored with, the whole idea of acting. I'm like, that's a lot of work. You want to go down that road. Okay. But here's the point. What's the point that I'm making is that was incremental improvements, right? Lots of people doing what they do best because they have an interest in doing that. Therefore, they develop the aptitude for that, right? So they do that to the point where here's this blockbuster, holy crap, Tangled, right? So, and there's the big payday. So everything that leads up to that is not something to be delayed because it's not perfect yet. That's the point that I'm making. Imperfect and done beats perfect and not done. And because you have an interest in doing whatever it is you've set out to do here, like become successful online, because you have an interest in that, you naturally develop an aptitude for that. I wrote about this in my first book, where I dropped a trigonometry class when I was in high school, all those years ago, just a couple years ago, actually. I dropped my trigonometry class because I didn't get it. I was like, what is this, right? I don't get it. And so I was thinking about that. Why am I not getting trigonometry? I've got a really high IQ. When it comes to like the written word and the spoken word, right? English, language, philosophy, right? So that's my thing, this math stuff. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, why don't I have an aptitude for this? Well, I'm not interested. Well, how is this going to serve me in my life? Therefore, interest renders aptitude. I got words. I'm very, very interested in communication, psychology, how this thing works. Very interested. That's out of necessity, right? Because I grew up broke and running the streets, right? I had to pull myself up by my bootstraps here, do something, right? I sit around doing trigonometry, not to invalidate the mathematician. Thank you. Go be the mathematician, please. Okay. But interest renders aptitude. If you need trigonometry, you're damn well going to be interested in it, and you're going to learn it, and you'll have an aptitude for it. Me, I could care less. Thankfully, other people are interested in that. All right. So in your case, you're interested in what? You're interested in creating freedom and a lifestyle for yourself and your family, right? Increased financial ability, diversity of location, work from anywhere, set your own hours. That's what you're interested, right? Okay, good. Therefore, you've got an aptitude for vehicles that can produce that. You've already discovered that it's not the vehicle that you've been in up to this point. I discovered that some decades ago when I kept hitting that ceiling. Can't get any further. Not in that vehicle, the corporate world, right? That's a vehicle, right? What about online marketing? Oh, that's a vehicle, and it takes many different forms. There's lots of different paths that you can walk down here. You're walking down a very stable one, right? With e-commerce and Amazon. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. Fantastic. Okay, you're interested in that, right? Great, great. That means you've got an aptitude for that. But that aptitude is developed. In other words, you get your answers via taking action, not via philosophy and theory about the action, but the actuality of the action, the execution of the theory, the practical application of that. So again, when we're talking about the flow, and I just had this conversation with some of our newest members, we're talking about the balance of inflow and outflow. We're also talking about the balance of theory with practical application. Here's the idea, touch the machine and do it. Now you own the idea. Give me another one, right? And that machine gets bigger and bigger. This is actually something we could say, again, very objectively. Here's an example. A new person shows up at the factory. They're here to operate the machine, right? Here's the user manual of the machine. More importantly, though, here's the foreman saying this knob does this button does that, right? Let's go ahead and do a dry run here. Okay, so when that piece of metal comes here, you click this button, you pull that knob, go ahead, touch the button, pull the knob, right? Familiarize yourself with this machine. Now you don't need the damn manual anymore. You know, read it cover to cover. That's good. Okay, but now we're going to see you demonstrate what you've learned. When you were learning how to drive, you probably took some sort of a driver's class, or you had an elder there with you, and you were in a parking lot. They had a car, right? And you're behind the wheel, and they're instructing you. And all right, so slight pressure on the pedal, small corrections on the steering wheel. You could hear about that all day long. You could read the manual, but now that you're touching steering wheel and foot on pedal, now we have an objective experience of this. Now it all comes together. And now, of course, you don't have to look at the pedal. You know how much correction is needed. Usually it's just a hair, just a tiny little bit to keep it in the lane, right? So knowing that, where's the perfection? Where's the perfection? There is no perfection. Imperfect and done beats perfect and not done. Right now, I know some people are troubled with the idea that FBA is a secondary thing for Amazon. They're fulfilling people's needs, with essential items more quickly than they are with your widget. Okay, they're still fulfilled by merchant. That's good. I mean, we can still take this stuff to a done, and then jump over into FBA, which is the final step there. In fact, I've even seen people asking about what about our inventory stats? You get like an inventory rating as an Amazon seller. Are we going to be penalized for these troubled times? And Amazon's like, hey, we're working diligently now to figure out, how to handle all that. We understand. Obviously, we're all in this together. We understand. Okay. So don't worry so much about your stats right now. And especially if your stats are 0, well, there's definitely nothing to worry about there. Let's get off of 0. Let's do something, right? So fulfilled by merchant. I'm about to go place an order today for non-essential stuff. I'm looking at this new back brace, right? Because I sit a lot and I'm thinking, you know what? I deserve better posture, right? I deserve a better back brace. I'm going to get a back brace, right? Is that essential? No. Will they ship it to me? Yeah, it'll take a couple extra days, whatever. That's fine. So what can you do that you haven't currently done to move incrementally closer to that big payday? Remember, it's those little incremental improvements, those little improvements in aptitude, which lead to massive, big, earth-shattering, heroic, and overnight success. Bon Jovi, which took 10 years, right? Or Tangled, which took about the same amount of time, I understand, 6 or 10 years, something like that. 500 programmers banging on machines for years. So you can hear Gothel sing Mother Knows Best. I'm done talking. We're 16 minutes in. We got lots of time for community involvement. Bernadette has the floor. Hi, Bernadette.
Hey, John. Not related to
See
this
you
topic.
too.
I know.
There she
I was
is,
able.
Bernadette.
I know. I was able to do video today because I'm not working this afternoon. Just real quick, not related to the topic, but I'm having trouble uploading the spreadsheet that I promised. So I just emailed it to you. So if you can upload it to the chat, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I will go ahead and grab it. So for those of you who don't know what Bernadette is talking about, she is talking about a checklist or a spreadsheet. I'm just going to throw it in Dropbox. Bernadette,
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's fine.
you got
Yeah,
Dropbox.
for some reason I no longer have access to do that, to Dropbox or just to attach a file.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got a Dropbox account. I'll just throw it in the public folder and everybody can have it. So I'll go ahead and do that. But what Bernadette is saying is that she created a spreadsheet of resources sourcing, right? So product sourcing resources that she's studied, as Sophie and others have mentioned, this resource and that resource. She's made a spreadsheet so they're all nice and organized. So Bernadette's awesome. How awesome is Bernadette, everybody? Pretty.
Yeah, and it's not just and it's not just sourcing, guys. Basically, through every module or every training Sophie or her staff has done, if they have referred to a specific website, whether it's for cash flow management, for sourcing, suppliers, branding, or whatever, I just have a spreadsheet, with all of those websites, and I've included the link to each and every website on the spreadsheet.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Where did you say you were putting that though, Bernadette?
I just put it in Dropbox.
Well, I sent it to John because for some reason I can't attach a file right now, and I used to be able to. There you go.
Where's your Dropbox, John?
He just posted it
in the chat.
Posted it.
Oh, it's in the chat. Right, sweet.
So there's that. Thank you, Bernadette. They just getting better and better. My goodness.
Yeah, Bernadette.
After 9.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Hey, this is Becky.
Becky.
Hey, I got a question for you, and it relates to the topic you just shared with us. On Sophie's call last Friday, she mentioned that the search tools are really kind of skewed right now because of what's going on, and she recommended we put that aside for the time being and not really focus on it because of it being a little bit messed up. And so then I'm wondering, and then she shared with us, about the Kindle publishing and whatnot. But so then I'm wondering, okay, if we're really not able to trust these search tools right now, should we be pushing our coaching calls back so that we don't waste them on searching products that maybe we can't really trust the tools right now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say definitely not. Definitely
Okay.
not. So the search tools also go back in history. So the last 30 days is not the entirety of history. So I would look back disregarding the previous 30 days or so, right? And I would also meet with coaches because they're also in the trenches. And the whole idea of having a coach and having private sessions is that you're not going it alone, right? So
Right.
they may have distinctions that you don't have. Oh, did you see this? Did you see that? So I would say, Becky, you're definitely on the right path with it. And it's natural, I think, sometimes to think, well, I don't want to just shoot blanks. Okay.
Right.
Well, no, let's go with the intent. I mean, the whole idea is that there is a solution. I guess underlying the whole topic that we just had here today is the idea that, yes, there is an answer, not sit here in a state of apathy. I can do nothing, right? No.
No. And I'm certainly doing other things as well. Is there a way to put a date range on your searches so that maybe we could eliminate the last 45 days and look beyond that?
Helium 10 question. I don't know
Yeah.
helium 10. Who has an idea on that specific tool? I would think that's what you're using, right, Becky?
Right, right.
Okay. So so helium 10 experts, anyone on the line right now?
John, I'm not an expert, but Helium 10 does have, and I've watched a learning tool. There are ways to go back as far as a year to see what certain products were doing, I guess you would say at a more normal time. And they talked about times to avoid. If you think about January being a slow period, then going into, if you're sourcing from China, going immediately following New Year's, Chinese New Year, and those things. So if you can avoid those times, it may give you a better look at more normal rain, say from March of 2019 through the summer before you get to Q4 maybe. Maybe that could help you determine what's more normal than this time now.
And that's exactly what my coach did during our session. You know, we
Okay.
took a look backwards. Yes. Mhm.
Great. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ray. And thank you.
John, can I ask a question, please?
You sure can.
Yeah. In one of the modules we're doing, Sophie mentioned some of on the listing that there are some items that you have to pay, like the baby things. You have to pay Amazon about 3,000.
3,000 for a baby face?
Yeah, no, baby products if you want to list them.
The category?
Yeah, yes. So I don't know which, because he said we should be very careful that there's some listing, some products. If you want to sell them, Amazon do charge you.
She was saying that she was referencing the restricted categories. And there's a list of the restricted categories out there. And she was referring to some of the products you may have to pay if you don't want to wait to get approved to sell a restricted product.
Right. So there's
So it's things like, baby products was one,
Yeah.
anything
Cream.
that touches your body, like lotions, creams,
Lotions,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah. Mhm.
So, is there a
I
way
think
we can have a list so that we won't waste our time on that?
Yeah, I have a list here. I can send it to John. I have a list of
Thank you.
everything.
No, I've just started looking at that today, just
I'm
10
the
minutes.
list girl. Yes.
So that's why I was surprised when I had that. I've just started just 10 minutes ago before I logged in.
Good stuff. Thank you, Bernadette. And great question,
you.
Tolu. Great question.
Thank you.
So restricted products, I think, also include anything from Italy. Is that right? Italy's still on the list?
I haven't finished listening to it. It's just 10 minutes. So I don't know what time it was
I
again.
don't know. So I haven't kept up with the list. Good stuff. Who else wants to come on out here? Sarah, you have a question? No?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my daughter's name. I don't know how it's on my computer.
Okay.
And there is another Sarah in this group, so I wasn't sure. No, I'm good. We're plugging along,
Good.
getting organized.
I have a question, John. How are you?
Good.
It's Griselle. Hi.
Griselle, who is a comedian.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I have a joke, but it had a nasty word in the middle, so I opted not to tell it. So my question is regarding Helium, the X-ray tool. When you use that tool, at the top, there's a star system. It's the success rate of the category. And I'm wondering how, I guess, serious we should take that, because it gives it a 1 star if it's very difficult to enter that category or it's very competitive and so on and so forth.
Great question. Anybody got an answer for that? I'm going to look at Bernadette again, but I think Bernadette's already done her quota. Bernadette, did you get the question?
I heard the question. And again, well, my coach guided me to not put a lot of stock into that, to those ratings, just follow your product assessment tips that Sophie recommends and that your coach recommends, and
Okay.
then just base your decisions on, your research data.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay, just real quick, answer to Mark. What application should we be using to open the document from Bernadette? It's a spreadsheet, so you can open it with Excel on a PC or Numbers on a Mac. Numbers.
If I can,
John?
I'll try to put it in a PDF if that's easier for everyone.
Thank you so much,
Listen.
Bernadette. Amy, your question? Amy?
Yeah, sorry, I have two little boys that are not getting along.
Whose birthday was it? It was somebody's birthday. Oh, we're losing Amy.
While we're waiting for
Well,
her,
Able to on business. You're frozen on my end. I don't know if this is still working. Let me see.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We got you back now. We got you back,
Okay,
Amy.
okay.
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Go ahead.
it's my little guy's birthday, so thank you.
Nice.
Anyway, I am not able to actually obtain my business license now because the courts are closed. And you have to get your business license in person where I am. So I'm not able to,
What
yeah, I
state
know.
is that?
Maryland, you can do everything of registering your LLC, you can get your tax ID, everything online except get the business license in my county. You have to do that in person, which I'm not sure why they're not making provisions to do that online now, but they're not. To sell as an individual seller on Amazon, do you still have to have that business license?
Oh, so I think that's a tax question for the Secretary of State for the state of Maryland.
Well, because Amazon won't let you register for FBA without that business license.
Okay, so you stumped me on that. Do we have any other Marylanders here?
Well, but I mean, even with Amazon, you can't register without that business license.
I get it,
You have
but
to have that for the individual sellers as well to register on Amazon.
okay, so the stop is the government. The stop is not
Yes.
Amazon, right?
No,
Anyone
well,
else?
kind of,
They will,
because I can't register for my account without that.
they won't let you call up, because in Washington, you can call them and they'll help you on the phone and do it.
I was emailing back and forth last week, and the last answer I got was you cannot obtain your license over the phone or by email. You have to be in person.
That's weird.
I know, you could do everything else online except get the license.
Her number you can call.
Yeah, I do, but right now there's nobody there. They're all teleworking.
Oh,
There's nobody actually in the courthouses. They're all at home.
well,
I agree that they should be able to do the in-person thing by something like we're doing, like a WebEx meeting or something like that. But as of now, they're not. So it's kind of holding me up as to where I am being
Amy,
able
it
to.
looks like you can start your Amazon account as an individual, as a sole proprietor with your social, and then you can upgrade your account to a business account online.
Okay.
It's a bit more work. You have to, provide the data, and then they have to switch your account. But if you want to get rocking and rolling and you're stumped by the not being able to get your biz license, I think that's a solution.
Okay. I'll try that. I have my first call with my coach this week, so I'll work on that.
I would try, if they have that number, I would try calling, because the way it happened to me was, I was asking for something else, and I'm sorry, I forget, because this was about a week ago. But I said, I'm also want to get my business license. And he said, oh yeah, I can help you with that off the cuff. So,
Okay.
yeah. So just give that a try, because I wasn't expecting that from him. And he said, yeah, I can help you with that. And he did.
Okay. I will try that then.
Good luck.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Solutions everywhere. Mark, you got your hand up. What's up, Mark?
Which one?
The one with the hand up. That's you.
Oh, that might be me. John, I have gotten several emails from an Isaac Sands, and this is about my upcoming appointment, my 12 o'clock, which is in conflict with what we're doing here.
It is this.
It is this?
Yeah, Isaac is administrator, And he's just making sure that the new people get at least, 9 or 10 sessions with John live, be here early, right? Here's the
Okay.
link. That's it. You're on it.
Well, it's a bit confusing. Can he
Yep.
stop?
Yeah, well, we're working on accommodating all the new influx of students, and they didn't want you to miss out on anything. So thank you for being here, and you can disregard those emails.
Okay, thank you. And I did have one more, and it's actually for Bernadette. What software did she make this spreadsheet in? I don't know if she heard.
It's either going to be
It's in Excel.
Okay, well, I've downloaded it several times and it doesn't have the Excel extension, so my computer's not recognizing
Oh
it.
boy, you know what?
Yeah.
That's probably on my end, guys.
That's on John's end because I couldn't open it either. From John's end.
Crap.
Same thing with me too.
Yeah, so John,
on a
can you
Mac.
can you
I was
just-
able to open it.
You're on a Mac, right?
I think
So-
he just has to check something there to say.
Yeah, I just still can't figure out why I can't attach a file the way I used to.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to redo this, guys. I'm going to save
Okay.
the attachment without opening it.
Mhm.
Okay. And now I'm going to move it into my Dropbox.
Okay,
Okay. So where do I put that? I'm going to put that in public, save. Okay. Because before I double clicked on it and it opened in numbers. And so Max said,
Mhm.
okay, let's turn this into a numbers file. Right.
uh,
So that's what just happened. And here we go. All right. So I've got a second version of this. I am putting in the link now. Let's see if this works. I know this is very entertaining for everyone watching this on recording.
oh, absolutely.
And once again, the link will be in the chat roll archive, which I am including in the YouTube video description. Stand by
Okay.
for the new link. Here comes the new link. There's the new link. See if
Where do I
that'll work
find
for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So
Um,
that is, I did not molest that file in any way. Okay. All right.
I was able
All
to.
right, thank you, John.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, John, the same question. I got had an email from
Hey, John.
Isaac.
I'm sorry,
Hey.
Tolu's talking. Go ahead, Tolu.
John?
Yeah,
Tolu.
yeah. I had an email from Isaac too, giving me 9 sessions confirmed, but I don't know with whom.
No, that's these.
Starting from April 27th, April 28th, April 29th, April 30th, May 1st up to the 7th, but I don't know with whom.
We're gonna get with admin and see what's going on with that. So
Okay,
thank you for
because I
letting me
haven't
know.
booked for any coach at the moment. now.
Right. So it's probably just daily success calls, and you'll probably
Yes.
see 10,000 different dial-in numbers, which are
Yeah.
optional. If you know how to use Zoom, you don't need the phone, right? So yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
get that handled. Sorry for the overwhelm with the email. Somebody else was saying, "Hey, John. Hey, John." While Tolu
Thank
was
you.
talking, who was that?
John, it's Les Stevenson.
Hey, Les, how you doing? You hanging in there? Oh, we got a major delay. on
I'm
Les.
good. I'm just starting to ramp up. I've got a super basic question for you all. Can you hear me, John?
Yes, we're getting your communication about 10 seconds after you say it. So please
I
proceed.
lost you. All right. So I have been on a laptop for my work for 16 years. So I've not bought one. Which laptop, which type is the best to navigate all of these systems? Are you guys more into the, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Sugar.
Yes.
All right. Did you hear the question, John?
Yes. You want advice on what kind of computer you should buy?
Yes, super basic. I know that. I have not bought a laptop in forever, but I want one that I can navigate all of this easiest in. Which one would that be?
Okay, so it really comes down to operating system. Do you like Mac OS or Windows or Linux? Your choice.
That's what I'm asking. Mac, does that? I've never been on a Mac, but I would. I hear good things, and people that are doing professional things seem to be on them. So, what do you think?
All right, so I'm not going to start a fight. Okay, I'll let you know that I switched over from Windows. I used to have 8 PCs running in my office at one time, And what got me off of Windows was Vista. Windows Vista was the final straw. I switched to Mac, and I never went back. So that was 2009. That being said, Windows has come a long way. Windows 10, good stuff. A whole lot less
All right, well,
bloatware, right? Cheaper as far as I mean, you could spend a lot of money too on a nice laptop. I do personally. I like Lenovo. I think they're awesome. Lenovo bought out IBM's computer division, personal computers. So that used to be IBM. That's now Lenovo. Okay. Also Dell. Right. It's a good product.
So I
Expensive money. Personally, I'm like my whole ecosystem now is Mac OS and iOS for the iPhone. So that's what I use. And I would tell you that if you're into production of like videos and more art kind of stuff, a lot of those people like Macs. Now you're into more, spreadsheets and like what Bernadette just sent us. That's Excel. Excel is like the final word when it comes to, that sort of thing. And Microsoft Office, right? Everybody's got Microsoft Office. Well, Mac answered with their version of, here's Pages instead of Word. Here's Numbers instead of Excel, right? So all that. So they're all whatever you already know how to use and that you like and that you're comfortable with. I'll just let you know if you're going to go Mac, then you just plan on spending about 30% more on the hardware because they don't play with any other companies. It's Mac. It's exactly the way Apple says it is. No choices. Buy that, right? And pay for it. But right now I'm talking to you on a perfectly operating late 2013 MacBook Pro that I paid $3,200 for, and I'm in no hurry to upgrade. This thing is awesome, right? So you get your money's worth with Mac if you plan on sticking with it. If you change out computers every year or so, then go with a PC and I guess throw the thing in the garbage next year, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I hope that.
Okay, great. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know we got a lot of PC people here who are about to take my head off. So yeah, a lot of computer programmers use PCs. Trading software. I got a PC. I got a Lenovo laptop right here on my desk for when I do like trading stuff, right? Trading futures and all that, right? You can't run trading software on a Mac. So, my Harley Davidson tuner, right? That tuner has to go through a computer. PCs only. So you got to have a PC too, I think. Anyway, go ahead. Anybody else? Who's next?
John, I emailed the prohibited products list.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, who else?
John, can I have Stuart repeat what he said a few minutes ago about setting up an account?
Stuart?
On Amazon as an individual seller?
Stuart?
You may not.
You must be on a PC.
Must be.
Sorry, we're new thing.
There.
So can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So you can open your Amazon seller account as either an individual or a business. If you open it as an individual, then you only need your social to open the seller account. You can upgrade the individual account to a business account once you have your LLC, your business license, your bank account, your EIN, and all that stuff. That make sense?
How do you get into that, Stuart?
You have to sign up as an Amazon seller.
Okay.
And somewhere on Amazon, there's a link for that. Maybe somebody could post that.
You have to be an Amazon seller before you can get in there?
Yes, you have to sign up as a seller before you can access any of the diagnostic features or search features or any of that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
And then you don't pay the fee as well, right? The monthly fee because you're an individual seller.
I don't think that's true, is it?
Yeah, that's true. You only pay the $39 a month as a business.
If you're a professional.
If you're an individual, then you pay 99 cents per transaction.
Oh, per transaction. Yeah, right.
There you go. All right, my friends, coming into the home stretch here. Thank you for a beautiful start to our week. I got a lot out of this. Thank you all. Thank you, Bernadette, for your contributions, and everyone for your contributions. I did put Bernadette's other document. Bernadette, we need to get you a Dropbox account, so you can go ahead and have fun with Dropbox.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. So go ahead and download that. We're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, check your description down below and you'll find the chat archive. The lower you go in the chat, the more valid the links, because I pulled out that other spreadsheet that I had damaged by touching it. So, all right, you guys, thank you all for all you do. Thank you for being a part of the solution in your own life and in mine as well. I'm so glad to have these sessions with you. I will see you back here tomorrow, same bat time, and make it a great day in the meantime. You absolutely deserve it. All right, bye for now.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.